Hey everyone, I'm in here finally. There we go. So this is going to be episode 8 with Jason Geiman. We're going live right now, and Jason's going to share all this stuff about finding the right path to success. He's done a lot of trainings. I don't know his number of people we're going to get on. He's going to get on here in a minute, and how many people actually he's taught and success stories. But he's one of the best that I've ever seen do it. So I'm super excited to have him on here. I was on his podcast just last week or something because we're doing a 3-day Christmas lighting training event here in Trophy Club, Texas. And it's exciting because we're adding commercial to it, and me and Chelsea will be talking on commercial. But with that, I want to introduce Jason Geiman to the stage. He just got in here. He's on his PC, but this is Jason Geiman. Everybody, let's welcome Jason Geiman to the show. What's up, Jason?
What's up? Hopefully I'm not echoing. If I am, I will make sure I turn off my stuff. But I'm excited to be on here today. This is going to be fun. I always like helping people grow their business, and I know you do too. And so it'll be a great time, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I got some questions and some stuff lined up for you. I'm just like you. I rushed to a computer. We're all so busy, and we're here now and going live. But we do have a lot to say and a lot that we're doing. So I do want to play the video that I made of the training to just show the area of kind of what it looks like. Because a lot of times when you go to an event, you're like, well, what am I getting into? What does the space feel like? What does it look like? What are the itinerary and things people are going to talk about? And so that's why I went over and I ended up shooting a little video of the area that we're going to be training at. And I also, you don't know exactly what's going to be in there, right? Like I'm going to decorate it for Christmas and all this other stuff. So that way, when we talk about this stuff, like you can actually see it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Let me share this screen. Sorry, I should have had this ready for everyone. It's going to be this one. So this is on my Facebook page, christmaslights.io, that has a bunch of stuff as well on it. Definitely go to christmaslights.io training to book the training for this. This is where it's at. It all links there. We do have extended room rates as well that we're doing. We just extended it today, and it will be the 11th, right? The 11th, I think, is what I put. So if you haven't booked yet, now's the time to book. It says before presenting a screen, remove other media streams from the stage. Stop sharing. I don't know why it's not doing it. Hold on one more time.
So with technology, the best thing to do is just get a bigger hammer. Usually,
A bigger hammer. What the heck? I must have something else going on. Oh, yeah, I do. I've got 3 screens like on the dispatch center. So it's kind of like, where is this thing at? You know? Here we go. Oh, it ain't doing it. So I'll figure it out in a minute of what we're doing. But why don't you tell people a little bit about the days of the training? I can do the 3rd day over commercial, but tell them a little bit like about what they're getting into.
So here's the thing that with Christmas lights, right? What is, you want to let the video run? You got it figured out?
Yeah, we can figure it out now. I'll let it run, and then maybe you can speak upon it.
Okay.
Hey, this is Joey Murphy with Murphy Christmas Lighting. We're here at the A-Loft in Trophy Club, Texas. In July 17th through the 19th, we're going to do a 3-day training with Jason Geiman. 3 days. The last day is a masterclass of commercial that Chelsea Murphy and myself are going to be teaching. So if you want to see Jason do his awesome training that he's done around the nation, as well as see about commercial Christmas lighting and how we generated $1 million, come check out at the A-Loft here in Trophy Club, Texas. Come check it out. All right, let's take a look inside. So here we got the check-in area. There's snacks and everything for late at night. Coming around here, this is where we can lounge around. We have games. There's also quiet rooms on both sides. You can see one right here. Then we also have a full bar. There will be a cash bar every night that could be here that you guys can access. This is the outdoor area where you can lounge around. There's fire pits, chess pieces. We have cornhole back here, and it's all access from the bar, from that lounge area. full access for the training rooms, which is right back here. So these are the training rooms, and you come right outside if you need to take any phone calls, anything like that during the training. This 3-day training with Jason Geiman is going to happen here in Trophy Club, Texas. It's going to be July 17th through the 19th. We do have rooms blocked off from the 16th to the 20th, so book now. It ends July 4th for the exclusive rate. So click down below and book your ticket. Let's make it happen. Goes a little bit into the rooms and the space and stuff like that, but basically you get to kind of see a little bit about the area and the layout, and the hotel's been very accommodating with what we're doing, and they're pretty excited about it. So, and
I'm excited about it too, because a lot of times when you get into hotels like this, you're at 150, 200 bucks, 300 bucks a night, and it's like 129, little over 100 bucks a night, which is super cheap. It's not like some of the other trainings where you go to the huge convention and it's a $250 a night room rate. And so it adds up a lot. And so that's one thing that I like about doing training at a place like this, is because it allows us to help you guys grow your business. Because one of the biggest things that I see a lot of people that don't really get it is, they'll be like, well, that's expensive. Well, how expensive is it not to learn, right? I will guarantee you will 10x your money. I will almost guarantee it 100%. If you take a quarter of the action and take action, you're going to learn. Whether it's, you might already hang Christmas lights, and maybe the first day you learn a technique that can help you shave off 10 minutes. Maybe you learn a technique that helps you shave off an hour, but you've been doing it for years and I know how to install, but you don't know all the techniques sometimes, or another technique that may help you shave off time. And you might say, well, that's only 30 minutes. That's going to save me 30 minutes. Okay, 30 minutes per job, times that by 4 or 5 jobs. Now we can add another 1 or 2 jobs because we've learned the technique to help us get faster. Or maybe, I know a lot of times people will not know how to charge, or they're scared to charge. And you can always come up with a reason of, you can't get that in my area. And the one thing that I love about Chelsea is she's all about premium pricing, premium of everything, right? And so, that's the cool thing about Chelsea is she understands. She don't know all the ins and outs of Christmas lights, but I can show you some of the best people out there selling don't know all the ins and outs of Christmas lights. Why? Because it's not about selling the nuts and bolts. It's about selling emotion. And so that's the cool thing when you come to these trainings. And not only that is the people you get to meet, right? The people you get to rub elbows on, the people that, as you're sitting there playing chess to see, and you're talking about business and you're learning about business and you're showing other people what you do. And so this is the cool thing about doing Christmas lights and doing this training. And I'm excited to do it with Joey and Chelsea, because both of them, they've done over $1 million a year in Christmas lights alone. We're not talking about total business. We're not talking about a bunch of that in landscape lighting. Yeah, he does a little bit, but 90% of this is all in the Christmas light businesses. And there's not a lot of businesses out there that are going to give you the information that you're going to need to grow your business at the end of the day. I know there's other trainings out there, and I look at them and it's a sales fest. They want you to buy this. They want you to buy Facebook ads. They want you to buy a $10,000 coaching program.
Yeah, it's preloaded. It's built by design, to give you the money. I want to stop you right there. You said one big thing lately, and my eyes have just opened up for this 2025. I don't know what it is, but I'm really understanding people more, like behaviors and characteristics of people, even the way we do things on Murphy Christmas Light. And then it's like, that's our installation side, right? And that is like, people will say this person didn't perform at this. And I really break it down, not of what I want my company to be, because I can't build this whole thing by myself, right? It's impossible to do $1 million by yourself in Christmas lights. I don't know if there's anybody out there who does it, but maybe I could learn something from them, But from that is that it's really, you built it not for what you think it needs to be, but what it is, our customers and their experience. And you sell this Christmas magic. I went on for our 14th wedding anniversary, which was June 26th, with Chelsea. We had our 14th wedding anniversary. I went to this restaurant. I booked it. a little bit last minute and everything. I'm like, hopefully it's a good one. I haven't ever been here before, but I knew it was a nice restaurant. And I look at everything in a company and why they're successful. But it's like the secret shoppers. What happened to those people? Because they would give true insight into your business. Hey, this person didn't do this, and this insight. Well, when I'm kind of like looking around, right? And at this restaurant in Dallas, this is what happened. And I'll tell you some examples of, like, we say we want to create magic and sell this experience, but you're just doing what everybody else is doing and they're successful doing it. But how are you doing it differently that makes it really seem like magic? And what happened is we went to this restaurant. You have to valet. You don't have an option. You can't walk up. You can't do any of that. They have people in place to stop you at all points. So they make sure that when you valet your car, when you get out, it's not any busboy or anybody there. It's a person full suit. You could tell like he almost doesn't belong there. And he has a very nice suit on, very, very expensive suit. And what he does is he introduces you and he says, right this way, I hope you're having a great night. So you're automatically greeted that you are going to have a great night right this way. As you go down there, it's a funnel, it's a channel to where you can't stray off. So the direction, even when you step in this restaurant, is you have to get there. If there is a slightly bit of a wait, they push you off in this little other area and you don't wait there very long because it's a restaurant, things will happen. But as we sit down, the how they came around, the people in positions, we did not just have one server. We had multiple people that had different roles. And then the other thing is like, they'll even like do the tables. And when they set it out to the table, they take a flashlight and look for fingerprints on the wine glasses, right? You look around, there's so many employees, so many things. It's busy, but it doesn't look chaotic, right? And it seems seamless, but everybody has a role and they just do their role and they all work together. I find that in Christmas lighting, and that's the stuff we're going to talk about in these trainings, right? Is understand people's behaviors, understand that these experiences, Walmart, Disney, they're all built by design, but why are there this many trash cans? Why are they this? And you brought up the fact, it'll save me 30 minutes. We always say there's 52 days to decorate and there's 52 weeks in a year. So it's like if you get rained out for 3 days, that's like in a regular business, you're rained out for 3 weeks. So time is super sensitive in Christmas lighting, and you have to build it by design. And that strategy and stuff you can't find essentially on YouTube because you have to look at your area, your things, and your stuff and come up with strategic plans. So I love when people say stuff like that. It's like, it's just another $1,000 training or this or that. It's like, but you might have FOMO after we record this thing and you weren't there. And then these other people that are networking are like, hey, I have a problem in my business here. And it's real consulting and experience that it's kind of come into this training. So that's why I want to do it with Jason. He's amazing because you have grown a following of over 35,000 on Facebook, right? It's 35 something. I know right now. I just checked the other day. I don't know anybody who's close comparison wise of that. And so I wanted to ask you, like, I know you've been doing this a while because I've even went back, looked at some of your YouTube videos and stuff. And I'm like, look at you when you started. I'm like, dang, Jason maturing nicely. You know what I mean? How is there anything on this journey of growing this following and everything that you see, all these trainings and everything, like, do you see things that are just so common that you're almost like, this is common sense, everybody should get it, but they still fall into the trap of that?
Yes, I do. And a lot of it, I believe, is two things. One is taking action, right? I just said it the other day of, you can read 1,000 books, and if you take no action, it does no good. You could read one book and take everything that it says in that one book and probably learn enough to do whatever you need, right? And so it's the same way with the training. There's people that are going to be action takers, and there's people that are going to want to take action. Someday I'm going to take action. But what you don't realize, our friend Dan, he talks about how he's lost probably $200,000-$300,000 because they came to my training one year. They didn't start their Christmas light business that year. They waited another year. Mm-hmm. So you lose all of that momentum of that first year of not doing it, right? So we're like, well, I'm going to wait till next year. I'm going to do this next year. And what we learn is next year we learn by doing, right? We learn by taking action. We actually learn by failing. The more we fail and the faster we fail, the faster we learn, the faster we're able to move on. A lot of people sit there and they'll be like, I've done this for 30 years and this is the way I'm doing it. I'm not going to change. And that's fine with you if you want to be stuck where you are in a dying business, because that's what's going to happen to you. It's going to start backwards on you and you're going to start dying in that business because you're only going to be able to get so far. And when you're charged cheap, you don't have the right employees because we can't pay them. And so we can't add more employees to be able to run a legit business. I've seen somebody in my group the other day talking about, how do I hire this person? I'm not charging enough. Well, that's why we have to charge. So we have the right insurance. We have the right workers' comp. One of the biggest things that we'll definitely harp on this weekend is safety, because last year in my group alone, I know I've seen 3 or 4 people fall off of roofs and some of them died. And that's not okay, right? It's not okay for you to be on a roof and you fall off and die. That's not okay, period. And so it's important that we use safety, think safety, start thinking differently than, well, I've just done it this way my whole life. It doesn't matter if you're a roofer and you do up on these roofs every day. All it takes is one slip and fall and you're done at that point. So it's important to make
safety. Sure. Safety is built. I mean, I was in public safety and it's just built. It was built around me at all times. BSI is seen as safe for medical, right? Gloves, and it's a scene safe and everything. And so with it is a lot of times is we get comfortable or we get in these modes on, I'm just going to go up this ladder. I'm going to step this way. And I've done it 1,000 times. Is you need to be disciplined at all times. And I do have a product that was sent to me. It has not been announced that it is patent pending from this company. You've heard of them before, but we're going to put a YouTube video out next week on it. And it's going to be available to buy and everything like that. It's not a very expensive safety thing, and it's something everybody has experienced before, so I'm excited about it, but I'm going to definitely launch it in a video. I don't want to announce it here, so stay tuned to that. If you aren't following me on Facebook, Joey Murphy is I just started being more out in the open, so I think I got 1.5 thousand followers, so we need to jack that number up a little bit. And everybody, if you like what we're doing here, just add me. If you haven't added Jason, add Jason. Go to his Christmas Light Facebook group. What's it called? Christmas Light Installers
Community.
Your Facebook group?
Christmas Light Installers and Community.
And Community. Go add yourself to that one for sure. I know a guy came into our warehouse and I says, what groups are you part of? And he told me one. And I was like, and they were not a good one. And I'm like, what are you doing around here? He's like, I don't know. I just found you. And I'm like, here, I'm sending you all the links. Get on Jason's group. Get on my, this is where stuff is happening. And people who are actually making stuff happen. People who are running 7-figure businesses and stuff are talking on there. And that's where you want to be. You don't want to be with the fluff, or is this some sort of marketing scheme? Is we're doing really good business practices, good businesses with good people. And that's why it's successful, And so that safety thing is, I will have that product at our training event too. So you guys can put your hands on it, test it there as well. It's another training tool in the toolbox to help everybody keep safe. Because like Jason said, there's numerous people like that you have met. I didn't meet any of them, but you've met them in person and stuff like that. And they're not here anymore. And it just, life does move on, Sometimes we think if we die, the world dies too, but that's not the way it works. And it's just one moment that can change everything. But that's why, I talk about, people say like, is there good money in Christmas lights? And they don't know anything about Christmas lights. I says, there's 2 things that'll make a lot of money in a business is risk and skill. So if you can do both of those in a business, it's big money, right? Like risk, Christmas lights has risk. Is there skill in Christmas lights? You bet you there's some skill. Like some people say Christmas light is not that hard. Get up in the commercial world and you're talking to electricians and everything else and really planning for cities of how do we really improve this area? Or, hey, I need more amps on this outlet and everything. How can you talk that way if you don't know these things? If you don't understand electricity, how are you going to know and coordinate with people? And it's like, well, that's not my job. Well, you'll never be introduced to those jobs because you're not thinking that way. I know Christmas light companies with master electricians on staff. Why would you need that? Because they're up in the territory that you do need that, right? It's justified in the business to have it. That's very unique, powerful thing. We don't have that. We sub some things out if we need it, or the property managers usually have, a Rolodex of people that they go through and stuff. But it's solving solutions is what it is. Problem solving, understanding people. Like, why would people want to work for you? I need to hire a guy. Sometimes people hire two guys, and most people can handle those. It's when real leadership comes in, when you're doing 4, 5, 6 trucks and you're not around so much, but they can still feel your presence. You have systems around it. One big one that we caught was hey, I'm going to go and I'm going to do a landscape lighting maintenance. Well, here it is. And if it's worse than what we think it will be, we will charge you per hour rate. So how are you doing that? You're just going there and not hitting a timer. Well, in the app Jobber, you can hit a timer, start timer. You have to do that. You can plug in manual time. You can do all that. But if you get in this practice of automation of, hey, start the timer, and then you're there and, hey, we did 1.5 hours. But after that first hour, he went up to the door, notified you that he's got to reseal this expansion joint or whatever. He's got to tear this wire out, take 30 minutes. Is that okay with you? It's the experience, the terms and conditions all along the way. If things change, you go up and you communicate to the customer. Sometimes people just bill it. It seems weird to me. So it's like, well, you have to hit that timer every landscape lighting maintenance. You have to, right?
Well,
or we track you with GPS, or we do this. And it's to create a seamless company where there's no controversy between the
it's kind of back to systems and checklist, right? You know, people are like, I don't need systems. I don't need checklists. And you already have a system and you probably don't have checklists. But you know, airplane pilots, they fly these planes every day, right? They fly these things every day. They fly them 3-4 times a day. And they have so many checklists. They have a checklist to get it off the ground. They have a checklist to get it back on the ground. They got a checklist if they're going to crash. They actually have a checklist to go through to make sure. And it's important that we have these into our business, because if you think that you're not going to forget these, you are. Or, you know, your 5 rounds. Well, I don't want to do it this time. I ain't got time. No, that's part of the checklist. That's part of getting that job done to make sure that it's done successful. Because, you know, I always tell people, right, you know, you already got this job. What do we got to do to get the next job? What do we got to do to get the next job? Because we already got this job.
You also can get the jobs, but can you scale a company, like truly scale? And we actually had a plumbing issue at my house, and I tried to fix it, man, because I'm a DIY guy. I'll fix anything I can. But this was like, I got to buy this, and I could just get somebody out here to do this, and they'll have the $5,000 tool or something, you know. But anyways, he comes out, and that company, they just down the road, they're by my gym, and I go and he comes to the door and he says, hey, yeah, we came out here. Yeah, let me look at this, make sure it is what it is. Cool. Then he steps outside, he gets his tools, materials, he confirms with a supervisor. And you think that's micromanaging. I'm like, what? Why does he need to do that? If he can confirm and he's a tech, something's going on here. They have the blue-footed boobies. That's what I call them, the blue slippers that they go on your house. Plumbing companies should have that. Good checklist, right? And then he comes in, and then the reason why he told his supervisor to say we're on track and it is what this person said it is, and we can build this appropriately. The other thing is, okay, where's the upsell, right? You want to get more money out of me? I know you do. What is it?
Sorry,
it's not me. Okay. Did you know that when he clued in his supervisor, he made sure his supervisor was available? Hey, I'm at this property. You're available. You're mine now, right? And then he explains it to him. He says, hey, let me call my supervisor. It looks like I did look at this, and we could do this for you, and it'll help you. It will save you. It's a problem solving thing, right? And I'm like, I don't need that right now. Like, you know, we may move in a year or something like that. Like, I don't know if I want to attend to that. And then does he say it though? Does the tech say it? No, he got the supervisor on the phone. Guess what the supervisor says? Hey, look at this. I saw the pictures. I'm able to do this for you. And why do you have a secondary person? Because it doesn't make the tech awkward. He's not in sales. He's just sitting there like, yeah, I'm here. You need me to do something? Oh yeah, I can take a picture, send it to you. And they operated as a team. So after the plumbing was done and everything, I was like, who's your boss? I want to know who your boss is. And they're like, well, the company's ran by a dad and the brother and this and that. And one does the technology and this. And I'm like, I want to talk to him. Why? Because you don't need to talk to people in Christmas lighting to understand business and systems. You can do it anywhere. And that's why people create companies. And when they find that recipe of like what works, how people really tick, and the checklist that I need to do for those type of people, and you create a systems around that, like that is like, you work together, you overlap roles and responsibilities, but you aren't awkward sitting there just begging the customer to like buy your service. You get another person involved, and then they're validated. That's another one, is validation is huge in these things. And so I find it so interesting of just business in general. And I'm like, man, I want to interview that HVAC guy on my Christmas lighting podcast, because I do think it translates. I think you can apply these things in your business. If you do go in customers' home to decorate, do you put slippers, like the blue slippers on, the medical ones? They're like $1, man. Do you do that for your $50,000 client that wants 3 trees inside in their McMansion? It's like,
do you do that when you go in-person quotes?
Exactly. You should have those on you. And it's just those small little things. Haven Lighting did the same thing. He went around and they did some things to tweak their systems and stuff. And he said the same thing. They busted out the booties, check, perfect. We're in the right place, right? If you don't, you're not in the right place. People aren't thinking on your level of these systems and stuff. So I love that you do those systems and checklists. That's what we do. We try to, and we tailor it to our people is what we do. I don't have this like, this is the way I do it, and this is the Murphy Christmas Science standard. It's what will work and us be the best team that we can be. So I love that you bring that up. I do want to ask a couple little questions here because I know you're not like Ron and going to do 3 hours. You know what I mean? I'll keep you on here for like an hour or so, but it's I want to fire through a couple ones of these trainings. Is what are the most common questions people ask in your training? And just like, hey, these are the most, like, I just hear these all the time and it seems like they never get answered. I know you do a really good job with your video to answer them, but is there ones that just keep coming back?
I mean, there's some in the group that definitely keep coming back, no matter how often you put it, no matter where you send it.
Search the search bar, and they're like,
exactly. But like where to buy Christmas lights, where to get equipment, where
can they buy Christmas lights?
Christmaslights.io.
Like, I think we got it established. All right, what's the next one?
Not only that, though, is it's not just about where to buy Christmas lights, right? The reason why reason why I teamed up with Dustin, same way with you, is the customer service is, if you have a problem, it's going to get taken care of. The shipping is probably the biggest thing, right? I've worked with other companies, and I know why the shipping gets shipped out the same day you order stuff, right? If you order from Light and Wholesale, it's going to get shipped out that day. Dustin's brother works till midnight and gets up at 4 o'clock, and he is hammering to get these orders out by every day. And they're doing hundreds of orders a day. And all the other Christmas companies are too, but there are a lot of times won't ship them out for 3, 4, 5 days. They're not telling you that. They're saying, the UPS is holding them up, whatever. It's really the shipping is what's holding them up. And so the shipping is definitely key for the reason why I love people to do that. The next question that I get asked all the time is how do I get customers, right? I know the best Christmas light installers can be the best Christmas light installer out there, but has no customers. Because if you don't know how to do marketing and you don't know how to do sales, it doesn't matter. You can be the best Christmas light installer. You're not going to get business at the end of the day, because you got to be able to go out and meet people and flip rocks. I always talk about Daniel. Daniel is kind of one that he did $179,000 his very first year. Last year, he did over $500,000 in year 2 of a Christmas light business. He's been on 2 or 3 roofs. That is it. He's actually scared of heights. He don't like ladders. How did he do it? He's not because he's the best Christmas light installer. No, because he knows how to talk to people and he knows how to sell to people. And, the one that I always love about it is what's his script? He doesn't have a script, right? He builds relationships. And when you build relationship with people, you will be able to sell at a whole nother level versus worrying about a script that do I hit everything that I did. It's all about how do you sell to people. It's about building relationship. People buy from people they know, like, and trust. That's the important key. When you're talking about the bulbs and it's the C9s and the blah, 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 they don't give 2 craps about that. They don't even understand it. They don't care. They want that relationship. And that is the key that of how do I get more jobs is go flip rocks. I always talk about flipping rocks. Go out there, knock on doors, and talk to people. That's how you're going to get more jobs. If you assume that you've got to wait and do this perfect Facebook post and you do one a month, and you're not going to get no business. You post 5, 6, 7 times a day, and maybe they're not the best posts, but somebody's going to see 1 or 2 or 3, and they're going to start buying from you at that point. So the know, like, and trust is a huge factor of getting more business.
Yeah, no, I can agree with you on that. And I've looked into a lot of businesses, and people will create like, hey, what's your template? What's your script? What's your terms and conditions? What's all this? Think of like a franchise, and the franchises do fail for certain reasons, right? So I can package even what we do, and I can say, hey, here's our processes, and you could maybe be successful with it. But then, I built the processes and the rhyme or reason, but you're going to pay into this company and everything. And it's like, you're the X factor. Number one is you have to take action. You got to move it. But by far, and somebody please disprove me on this, but the most important thing in business, hands down, bar none, and it's a factor of 10, is customer service. It doesn't even matter if you have a CRM. If they really, really like you, they will start giving you money. Just like, hey, can you come back? Can we add 3 lights over here? They just want to see you. You're good people, right? And you're giving good customer service. You're very kind, professional. We have a lot of clients that sometimes I don't want to leave. I'm like, you want to get some iced tea and we just sit by your pool for a little bit and talk? Because they're also very cool, interesting people. And that's the relationships we want, And so a lot of times as you get microanalyzed, if I make this perfect post, this perfect banner, you're just going to blow up like a viral TikTok or something. That's not how it works, number one. And so you need to do good customer service. We say always pick up the phone, always do these things. If you can't pick up the phone, that's fine. But have other forms of communication where people can get in touch with you, or somebody that can touch you quickly. Like sometimes I'll be in meetings. I'll be like, right now, if the company gets a call, who's going to pick it up? Chelsea's going to pick it up. And she said, Joey's in a meeting right now. Can I help you with anything? And 90% of the time she can. And then all of a sudden that person doesn't even want to talk to me anymore. They're like, I'm just going to talk to Chelsea because Chelsea knows 90% anyway. Is this like an advanced thing? And maybe Joey chimes in every once in a while, but I don't need to talk to Joey, So, but what's interesting is our younger customers, I say younger, it's like first year, second year, we're retaining some of those. And believe it or not. And a lot of times they'll call and they're like, I want to talk to Joey because they have a personal relationship with me. They remember me. They even tell me things and I'm like, that was 8 years ago. I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't remember your dog's name. I don't remember these things, but they're very nice people. They're still our client. We're still providing that service and they just demand me. But Chelsea's like, Joey is too busy. He is too busy to answer the most basic, frequently asked question thing, which I can help you with. Right. And so that's a little tough too, that you get bigger where you can't always be there for everybody. But again, we're a team of people. Right. And now they need to absorb the team a little bit more. Start having a relationship with Chelsea. She's awesome. You know what I mean? You don't have to always talk to me.
Well, and you'll find out a lot of times that there's people that can do it better than you. Right.
Chelsea can sell better sometimes than I can on residential. I think I'm really good at commercial, but like her residential, I'm like, oh, do this. Even Jonathan, our brother, which he works the distribution stuff at Lysa Wholesale too. And that's why Murphy Chris was saying is really like a lot of family and stuff. It's got built over that way over time. You know what I mean? But even Jonathan was like, how much did you charge for those bushes? It's like, that's highway robbery. And it's like, no, it's not. Not if are they happy? Does it look good? Are they okay to pay it? Then all of those are the check boxes that we like for good customer retention. They also gave us a 5-star review about them and posted it on Google, which is really good because pictures with the review is even better, and it's like, it's a beautiful thing. What are you talking about? And it's just like, it's limiting and idolizing things is another thing in business that I don't like is people idolize that it needs to be a certain way or that their customer is going to think this way. Have you ever talked to your customer and asked them? Did you just straight up ask them? And the same thing, they'll come back and say, hey, we launched quotes and they said, hey, October 3rd is your date. And they said, oh, I don't come back in town until the 15th. And we're like, you don't need to be there, all this stuff to kind of resist it. And at the same time, it's like, that's the experience they want. They want to be there. They want to see their lights go up. We all know the customers that are like going to be out there, but great. We know that they're not far away. Why don't I go by and say hi? I haven't seen them in 5 years. And that's the company I want to be. It's like, wow, Joey showed up at the house and these guys are working and, oh, do you need anything changed real quick? I know we already signed the quote and everything. They'll be like, no, everything's fine. And that's 99% of the time. But guess what? I was there and they liked talking to me. And now I remember their dog's name. You know what I mean?
When you put it in your CRM, so that way you definitely remember it.
But I put tasks and this is my schedule. But isn't it awesome to just roll up to a job site and say hi to customers? Is that a bad ownership role thing? Like, what else? Like, if I should do anything, maybe I should just go around and shake hands, you know what I mean, with people. And it's like, you're building your brand is the other thing, you know what I mean? You kind of answered that one of the interesting questions and stuff. Let's move it forward just a little bit. How different do you need to move in different areas? So this is a big one that I don't do a bunch of national trainings and stuff like that. Not like you have, not even close to your numbers, but from it is I know, if I was in Louisiana in the area that I lived there for 6 years, I'd be putting up a bunch of yard signs just because of the tack I need to do on that market. Here we're like 90% commercial. But that's this area. Like I could never really hit my numbers really as fast as I did in Louisiana. Same thing in Colorado. It's starting to get better up there, but I grew up in Colorado Springs too. And so I have different perspectives of building and construction and the market area and what people will do. And it is different. The certain clips that won't work on this type of construction and everything else is like, you may also have to come up with different solutions that like we do here in Texas may not work in your area, right? When it comes to supplies and stuff like that. But for the most core part of business, and that's blanketed all across. It's just how are you going to do it? What's your branding? What's your flavor, right? So with that is there certain things you would say like, oh, I can't get the price in this area, right? That's an area thing, a geographical. They're saying I'm limited because of my geographic area, and you've proven that to be false, right? But your area is something. You're like Louisiana is different than DFW. It is. So how you maneuver and be really successful in your market area is just a little bit different than how I would do it. But are we both like being successful on our strategic plan? You know what I mean? So do you see that with the different areas? And do these people need to move just slightly different? Because somebody may recommend something online and they're like, that doesn't work in my area. You know, and it's like, well, did you really test it and prove it and have a scientific approach to it? Or is it just like that's now you have a biased opinion of it? You know what I mean?
So I think that it definitely has a place, right? Different areas are going to do different. But a lot of times I hear people say, you can't get that in my area. You can't do this. You can't do that. And a lot of it comes down to you're afraid of no, and you don't know how to handle objections and do that. Is there different tactics for different areas? Sure, there is. But in the end, you always are going to have Christmas lights on the house one way or the other, right? And so I think that a lot of times people, and the majority of it, right? Because for instance, here, if Utah, always wondered how they got so many houses or have flatter roofs, right? Dallas has flatter roofs. We have big peak roofs. So there is different tactics that you have to do to be able to get it done. But in the end, there's not that much of a difference, right? We're putting a bulb on a clip and we're putting it on the gutter or putting it on the roof. And so I think the biggest thing that I see wise because people will be like, well, Jason, you can't get this in my area, right? Well, I've got people in the place that Daniel's getting $10 to $14 a foot telling me that you can't get $8 a foot. And it's like, I know that you can, it's just you have to believe in it, right? If you don't believe in yourself, if you don't believe in your product, I want to go back to what you said when you showed up at the restaurant. The words that we speak are very important. The words that you speak. So when you showed up to the restaurant, they didn't say, I hope you have a great time. You are going to have a great time, right? The words that we use. And a lot of times people, when you're selling, you could use one word in your whole script that turns that customer off. Because if you use a negative word somewhere, you use that my competitors. Well, now you just told them that there's competitors out there. So the words that you speak are very, very, very important. It doesn't matter where you speak them at in which area. Because when we were in Mississippi, I couldn't understand the words that they were speaking anyway. So that was just yesterday on our way back through Louisiana, from Dallas to Louisiana up through Mississippi. Literally, I looked over at my wife and I was like, what'd they say? Because I had no clue what they said, right? Yeah. And so the words that you speak are very, very important. How you speak those words, how you say the words, that's going to make or break these deals. Because if you're using negative words and you're worrying about the competitor and you're talking about it, and here's the thing, you don't even have to say it a lot of times. If you're worried about a competitor and you've looked them up, you've been out, all that information is in your head and the anxiety is in your head. And that's what you're going to just start spewing out. And this is why it's important that we think about the words that we're going to say and how we're going to say them. Because in the end, I've heard it many times that you can't make money in Dallas. There's no way you can get $8 to $10 a foot in Dallas. I heard it from many, many people that have been around this business for a long time. And I know you guys get it, and I know other people that get it. And so you're right. If that's what you say and that's what you believe, that's what you're going to get. And that's why it's important to believe it, to see it, to achieve it. Because the only thing that's going to keep you from getting it is the 6 inches between your ears. That's the only difference between the installer that can and can't get that. That
when people say like, I can't get this in this area, I want to tell them, give me 10 of your top 10 installations in that area. not yours. I'm saying that physically Christmas lighting in this area. Do you know how much money is flowed in the DFW on Christmas alone? It's astronomical. You're talking millions, tens of millions, millions.
100 million or more.
Insane. And there's forms of lost revenue because there's not enough people educated in it. Maybe some people are getting older and getting out of it. Some people newer coming into it. Some people failing it just in the first couple of years because they don't have it set up. But if there is somebody in your area that does full-time Christmas lighting, the DFW has multiple, like more than two hands full that do full-time Christmas lighting. So don't say that you can't turn a profit or make a living off of this type of thing or get this money out. You're just playing the wrong game in that area. And that's your job to figure out, strategize, find the company you want to be. And how are these people really getting this type of money in these areas? That's what we're talking about in this training. For $1,000, you could go there, walk up to me, and I'll tell you how I get money in this area. And do you know why I'll tell you? Because the X factor is going to get it. If I make you a franchise of me and I tell you what to do and you don't take action, you're not going to get anything. Right? You're going to be an underperforming employee is what you're going to be. So you can have the recipe for it and still fail at it is what I'm saying. And so when you say anything, I can't get this in the area, everybody support underneath it. Please, if you say this, give us the actual data. That's okay. You can't make money in North Carolina. Okay. I'm going to find 10 really awesome paid properties from any type of company in your area. And I can do it really quickly. Okay, even the most trending ones or whatever, they didn't do it themselves. A real company did it. We can find those pretty quickly. And then you just need to reverse engineer from there. That's really what it is. It's not that you're trying to achieve something that it hasn't even ever been done in your area. That's also very hard to do, very strategic wise. It's been done. You just aren't doing it. You know what I mean? And it's things like Jason are saying. We do have a comment here. What up, guys? Love to see you connecting from Robert Price. We got people from Louisiana and stuff in here too, speaking on their hometowns and stuff. So definitely good. I wanted to pop open before our next question is I wanted to show you, I don't show this in the video, but this right here is the A-loft. Okay. That's like the chessboard and stuff is right there. And then the shuffleboard and all the training. But what's really unique about this area is like, yeah, you have it there. But if you look at this, all this right here is shops. There's an amazing Thai place right here. That's just right across the street from there. You got Social Oak and Wine. This is like I've been there for our Metroport stuff. A very nice like place to get a drink. That's right across the street. You got cafes. I know they just put a Euro place that's super delicious right here. And you have all this stuff available. Even Meet You Anywhere Barbecue. That's one of the best barbecue spots around. And that's just right across the street. So everything is within your access really quickly from the hotel to get what you need and not even stray off. So it's not just the hotel. It's not just the training, but you can also be like, hey, I'm hungry. I want to go over here. I didn't eat enough of this or whatever. I need to grab something. We can accommodate you for anything because everything's just right there. So I did want to point that out, that is also just right outside the training, and definitely look up the address and do your little research. But we would love to have anybody who would want to come. And it's going to be unlike any other training that, trust me, that I've even been to or anybody's been to because of what we're packing it with. So I'm pretty excited about that for 2025, but what are you excited about for 2025, Jason? Is there anything that you're just like, I just can't wait for the season to be here and Christmas lights to be thrown up, like what are you excited about for this year?
I'm excited for the next person that's going to take action and hit those numbers that are bigger than Daniel, right? Or my one before that was Sam Else that did very well in his first year in 2 and 3. And, it's awesome to start seeing these guys that are taking off and exploding with their business because, that's what gets me excited is when I see people have success, when I see people that are hitting 7 figures doing Christmas lights. Who would ever think that you could do a Christmas light business and do 7 figures and do pretty well off at it, right? It's not like there's a ton of money going. For Daniel to hit over $500,000, it was literally him and 3 other people doing this. This isn't something that we got 25 employees doing it and 30, you got more money going out. It's important to know what your bottom line is because I see so many people, they make $1 million and spend $980,000 getting to it. And it's like, did you really make $1 million or did you just have a $25 an hour job that you're killing yourself on? And so it's exciting to see people have success, people hitting things and never thought they could and believing in themselves because honestly, that's probably the biggest issue of why people can't grow is they don't believe in themselves. And if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else is. And so it's important that you start taking action. And, you might think $1,000 is expensive. It could be, but what's more expensive? Not learning, because that's what's going to cost you more in the end. Not being able to hit that 6-figure mark, not being able to hit $500,000, not being able to hit 7 figures. 6 figures is pretty easy to get to in this Christmas light business alone. I've had several people hit 6 figures their very first year. And what you're going to learn from this weekend is not just me. That's the exciting part, is you're going to be able to hear Chelsea and Joey, because they've got the experience too of being able to get there. And that's what's cool is to be around people, be around like-minded people, get in touching shoulders and rubbing elbows and being able to take action of what you need to do. That's the whole key to this. How much is it going to cost you not to show up?
Well, a big one is like, I love when you say take action, because you simplify something that is actually like a long drawn out thing that you can do. And one big thing that I did when I was younger, and anybody, I don't want to say anybody, but I think the majority of people can feel me on this moment, is when you were in high school, middle school, anywhere in a school subject, and they asked a question and you may have known the answer and you're like, I'm not sure if that's exactly the answer or this perspective, but you don't raise your hand, right? And you don't say it. You don't take action because you're afraid of being, oh, that's a dumb question or this or that. And you're playing this whole thing in your head. But guess what? The person next to you is also doing the same thing in their head. And nobody raised their hand. The teacher's like, nobody knows the answer to the thing I just told. And it's just like, well, I guess I'll raise my hand now. And then it's like, no, that I just said it. And it creates this environment that's toxic, right? If the teacher can't hone it in. And it's like, it's the same thing in the adult life. You said turn rocks. What does that really mean? How many cold calls have you done to commercial? If you want to get in commercial, how many cold calls are you doing? And I know you'll say like do 50 a day, call every restaurant, call every dealership. But guess what happens? At the end of the day, look at which ones on your phone did you dial out to? Or did you get roadblocked? You may have even triggered and turned the rock over and they're like, oh, they're on vacation. Guess what you do? You go in your CRM and say, I'm going to follow up with this person in a week and finish that sales process. But the true answer is like, I don't have this. And it's like, well, how many did you call this month on commercial? How many people did you talk to? Truly. Well, I've done this. No. How many people communication wise, they know that you can have your services? How many? And they'll be like, I haven't done that yet. And I'm like, because that's it right there. You're the person just not taking action, not raising your hand because you're like almost scared of like actually getting something. You know what I mean? It's like, don't be scared. Don't idolize these things in your head. Just start. What's the worst that can happen? They don't pick up. They tell you no. All you need is one. You only need one. I mean, how many people here would like to do 10 dealerships this year? Like, put in the comments, raise your hands. It's like, I would like to add that to my portfolio. And it's like, well, how many have you called this year? 0. So how do you think it's going to happen? Now you're just crossing your fingers and kind of wishing, right? Yeah. So I'll call them with you. Let's call them. Let's bust out your phone. Let's do it. It's not that hard. It's just, I think we limit ourselves. And like you said, it's right in between your ears. This brain, the mental thing that you tell yourself of what you are, it's just crazy. A lot of people do hold themselves back. And when you break those barriers, then what do? What happens when you get that one thing? And you're like, I got denied 9 times, but check this out. We just got a $40,000 dealership. And then you're like, all of a sudden, just you want to get on the grooves. You want to share this with somebody. And that's not like business owners. You have to like celebrate quietly, but it's like, you want to go do it again, right? Because it's positive affirmations. It's like something good happened. That's a good dopamine rush. Let's go get another one, and it's taking and running with that. And sometimes you just need one to get it started. We just had the 4th of July. Once you light that fuse, what do? Run away because it's going to happen. You know what I mean? But you just need to spark it. You just need to ignite it, and then you can see that fireworks show. So we got a couple more comments in here. Let me see this one. I'm over 7 figures a year this last 5 years in a row and going on my 20th year in Florida and New Jersey. Wow. You've been in it a while, man. And that's awesome. Chelsea said, I'm quoting commercial right now. We winning bids right now. We probably got an email saying we got a bid or something. And she's just like, he's talking about it. It's really happening.
He actually had to know how to do Christmas lights when it was hard.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing is you've seen the changes in the seasons. Even the past 5 years have been crazy, And so that's a lot of wisdom and experience for sure.
And this would be my question for Frankie is over the 20 years, have you ever had a downturn in Christmas lights, a year that was less than the year before? Because 20 years, that means you went through 07, you went through 2011, 12-ish, when times were not always the best, 2018. And so, I've always liked talking to these old guys that have been in it for that long to say, I know people that have been in it longer than that, and they've said they've never had a down year unless they didn't do no marketing at all. And that's the only time it's ever been. And even then they broke even that year.
See, so but that like 20th year after the real estate 07, all this stuff that's happening, even the past 5 years with the COVID and then the backing of the ports and then the tariff increase, all this that's going around, is that sentence right there lets you know this is a sustainable industry. Even it's been sustained over all of that hardships. And here's example one. And it's really good insight to see, because in 07 or something like that, I wasn't doing Christmas lights. I was graduating high school. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I was doing. And I didn't start. I wasn't one of like these 16, 18-year-olds doing this. I was like, I'm going to go be a firefighter. That's what I was doing. So, but I wasn't doing it. So really good perspectives even for that stuff. And that's the stuff you're talking about is like in this training is like, we want to see people win because it helps build the industry. It's a community. You say community on your Facebook page. That's in the description of it. It's like, I want Frankie in there telling people about, hey, this is the lessons I learned. You know what I mean? And it's like, don't fall for this trap that I did, idolizing things, doing these things. And it's really good sound advice because it's somebody who's really done it. And those are the people I feel like the young guys coming up is, you could do 3 successful years and then you can hit a brick wall or actually repeat history of somebody doing something and you think you're like the greatest. I'm talking to HVAC companies and stuff like that and plumbing companies because I also just want to be better at business. You know what I mean? And strategy. I love business strategy. I love when people have a concept and it's proof of concept. So let's move it along to, what is your favorite book? I know you read a lot of books, but what's your favorite book that people may not have heard and why? Like, not the E-Myth and all that, but like one that just really stands out that people may not know, and then why do you like it?
The one that is new for me now is Endless Customers. It's kind of the book by Marcus Sheridan. It's the sequel of They Ask You Answer. It just came out about 3 months ago. And if you were wanting to know how to get customers, if you're wanting to grow your business, this is the book for you. It is, in my book, it's right up there with E-Myth, books like that is that critical to read. Obviously, the E-Myth is a great book. I lost my brain fart now. Think and Grow Rich is another great book, but the Endless Customer book it talks about AI stuff. It talks about video and a lot of things that we don't want to do, right? Video, that's scary, but it's something that is in the AI world is getting more and more important, that we do videos and answer the questions that people have and do the business that we need to do. And so that's my favorite book as we speak right now is Endless Customers.
Nice. Yeah, I would listen to a lot of audibles because I worked for a fire department that was like an hour away from my house, and I would, like, as I was going into work, I would just play it and zone out and think of things like logo ideas and stuff like that. But I'd have to pull it up because it's been a while since I read it or listened to it. But there's one with Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, but it was the trainer. It was something. It was one word. It was like resiliency or something like that. I'll get it and I'll post it underneath this thing. But the thing is he trained Michael Jordan, then he trained Kobe Bryant, and seeing the different aspects and what they come to find out is like they are just unstoppable. These trainers are just helping them get to where they need to go, but they're there before anybody else. Like even the trainers there, Kobe Bryant's waiting on his trainer, like. And his trainer's early and he's like, what are you doing? You don't need to be here at this time. And he's like, I'm not missing a second of this. And it's just nonstop. And when I read those books and I listen to those things, it helps me get in the mindset, right? It's like, oh, I'm a little bit tired with Kobe Bryant. What would Kobe Bryant say right now? Mamba mentality. You got to get your up, you got to do this and this. But they do it in such a fierce, endless way. And you do it on the history of time again and again and again. Like that one, if you're in business for 20 years, at some point you also, man, this is a lot of work and this and this. And you go up in these up and down emotions because you're a human being. You know what I mean? Sometimes you get high dopamine levels in the beginning, and then all of a sudden you'll book jobs and you're like, another $20,000 job, cool. We lost one, we gained one. And the dopamine doesn't hit as much, but it's going back to those roots of like, I want to talk to my customers. These are the things that really do matter moving a business. And then also, how resilient are you is can you be that person who, like when I was a firefighter, I was up all the night, all the time. I was always hungry, starving myself because you're working and you're working out and all this stuff, you're burning calories. But I acclimated myself to this environment where I can work nonstop for 60 days straight with no sleep and I could still perform. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's another aspect that you guys may not be considering is like, what is the hardest hardships that you've had and workload wise, because sometimes being at a computer all day can be more exhausting than being out in the field. Some people are like, I like being out in the field. And I'm like, well, it is exhausting behind a computer sometimes. And that may not be for you or whatnot, but still, can you build and do things digitally? You have to be a builder if you're trying to do this and scale this thing up. So create systems and stuff like that is like, well, how resilient are you to sit down? Could you sit down for a whole week at a computer? Never. I've never even spent an hour. And it's like, so you're going to pump quotes out in 8 hours all day. You're going to get tired, man. Like get some energy drinks around you or something, but like really understand who you are as a person and then how to also like harden yourself, be more resilient. And you're also training your mind and your body as you grow your company, which I think you kind of harp all the time on is like, you got to take action. You got to build yourself along the way. You can't run $1 million company and have a weak, non-resilient mind. Things will happen and you'll have to overcome adversity. So that's a good book reference for sure. What do people totally miss on starting a business that you see? So I know a lot of guys are like, I'm going to start this year. I'm going to start in October. And you're like, whoa. Like mistake number one, and it's like, but what do people just totally miss that you also see on starting a business that you wish you could just like, hey, do these 5 things starting out, like bar won't none. You do these and you'll be more successful. Take action. You say those things. They're broad terms. Do you see anything specifically that people aren't doing? Like not getting insurance. That's like insurance is not that much. You definitely have profit for insurance. You don't like cap yourself on that. And then everything gets destroyed because you don't have insurance, and it's like, so what would you say is like the specific things that you wish you would see people do more of starting out a business?
It don't have to be perfect. I've seen many people be like, yep, I'm starting this business and I'm going to I got to get this logo first. And 3 months later, you're like, how's your business going? I'm still working on my logo. And it's like, it ain't got to be perfect. I see people, I was just talking to Pink Pro Wash of, they've changed their logo like 10 times. Guess what? That's fine. It's okay that we can change things. But not getting insurance is a big one that I see, and not getting trained, right? I see a lot of people that they watch YouTube videos and they want to learn from 10 different people. And those 10 people, 9 of them or 8 of them have never done $10,000 in business sites, but now they're training people and teaching people because they learned something from the day before, and now they're teaching people. And so, I've been doing this since 2012 or 2014 with Christmas lights business. I've been doing since 2012. And honestly, the Christmas lights are simple. Learn how to run a business. That's, that this weekend is probably going to be more about learning how to run a business than anything else at the end of the day. If you don't know how to run a business, you're never going to be successful. As I said before, you can be the best Christmas light installer out there. I know some great Christmas light installers, and they're broke because they don't know how to run a business. They don't, when I ask them their numbers, they have no clue. They don't know what their numbers are. They don't even know, I did this. Well, what was your profit? I don't know. Or, I made this much in profit. Well, did you pay yourself? Well, that's my profit. Well, that technically is not your profit, right? And so not knowing your numbers, not knowing how to grow a business is the key things of what you got to do to be able to grow this business.
No, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I was a firefighter and then ran up into business, and I was like, I didn't go to school for business, and I had to learn.
And even if you did go to school for business, they're not going to teach you how to run a business anyway. It's like you go to school for marketing and they're teaching you stuff that's outdated, so it ain't funny.
Yeah, like you really have to be doing it, like you said, and running it, and then run into these things, and then have a community that you can talk to be like, should I do this or this? What do you think? And it's like, it's those mentorship, and it's like we act like that's online in these groups at all times and you can punch it, but are you getting real sound advice from people really doing these things? Because it is rare. It's a growing industry, and not a lot of people are speaking up about it. It's been around forever. There's so much money in it, but the big thing is about raising the industry is what I'm all about. Quality. And so if people are always signing up and they always have insurance and all this, you ain't a guy with a ladder on your truck. You actually are trying to do good business practices. A big one to me is money management, is business strategy. An example is like even the Augusta rule with the IRS and how to lower taxable income. Okay, if you don't know that, that's a very common thing that you can see at YouTube and all this stuff. Research, ask AI what it is. You know what I mean? And the thing is like, if you don't take advantage of that, that's the biggest thing with business with me, is you wake up in a day and you feel like the opportunity's out there. I can close a $20,000 bid today if I take action, right? But the thing is like, you could do that and then also like mess things up in a different area and offset that. That's where you get to be that $1 million company, but you're only doing 900,000, is because you're not really managing things correctly. Not that you're not doing things right. It's just, you have to move the pieces around to where they benefit each other. And how do you do that? That's what we'll be talking about in the training. The business strategy is so big. The mental aspect, hey, step this way. Hey, I'm doing it. Why are you doing that way? Oh, well, my customer said this. Okay, that's 100% of all your customers now? Or you're changing your ways because of one customer and that's the anomaly? Are you doing that? Right? It's so many aspects that you can't find a YouTube off this, because you'll find it more in a podcast or a training. Right. And that's why you need to come to the training. We already have quite a few people signed up. There's more and more people. We extended the room rates for everybody, because we want to get everybody the chance to go to this event on the least amount that they can. Lunch will be provided, to this event and everything. We got some good places here in Texas for sure. I live around this area, so I definitely know like what's really good to eat and stuff like that. We're gonna have some fun, definitely network with everybody and try to answer everybody's questions as much as possible, but still have structure to the class. I'll be bringing in supplies from our warehouse and everything that's up in there for you guys to see and actually put your hands on and stuff you may have not seen. I'm going to have that exclusive product that we're going to be launching basically at that event. That's patent pending and everything from another company. We'll be there. You can see it there as well. So pretty excited. And that is the 17th or the 19th. So it's not this weekend. It's in 10 days. It's the following weekend. But you said a lot of great stuff in this podcast. I'm going to chop this thing up, Jason, and we're going to post it out there and share and try to get the message out of everything that we're trying to say. But what about any last words for anybody that's like watching this and maybe they're just want to get something started. Maybe they've been doing it a while. I mean, even somebody who's been doing $400,000 a year, you probably can go up in certain ways if you want to in your life, if that's what you want to try to achieve. But it's like, how do I do that? And I'd love to bend somebody's ear. I don't know a place that has more experience. Like me and Chelsea have 40 years of customer service experience, 40. And different aspects of customer service experience, working for people, working by ourselves, all this stuff. Your experience is in there, like combined. Jonathan will be there too for the first day, just for a little bit, just to everybody to meet him. But it's like, how much experience in Christmas lighting is in this one room? It's kind of crazy.
And that I've actually done it, right?
Exactly.
That's the key to this training. And this is something that if you want to learn and grow, this is where you want to be at. It's something that there's people going to be there. The networking is probably what you'll learn more than anything else anyway. I guarantee you'll learn stuff in the training. I'm going to talk about AI. I'm going to talk about LinkedIn. I'm going to talk about things that a lot of people don't even think about in the Christmas light business, right? Who thinks about LinkedIn and Christmas lights? Well, you should be. If you want to do commercial contracts, you should be on LinkedIn. You should be doing the tactics that I'm going to be showing you of what you need to do, because if you're not, this is why you're losing out. And this is, and that's what I always say, I always tell myself, if I go to a training, if I can 10X it, I'll pay whatever I need to pay because it's worth it in the end. And there hasn't been a training. In my years of growing my business, I can go back to the years that when I went to either the huge or different trainings, and I can show the exponential growth in my business, because you start thinking differently when you get around like-minded people. Instead of start being around a bunch of broke, poor people and telling you that you can't get it, you get around people and being like, yeah, I just closed this deal. Guess what? You start thinking, well, if he closed it, look at that dude, then surely I can close it. So it's important that you're here learning and growing your business.
I 100% agree. I don't think there's a better place to. DFW is big. There'll be a lot of local people there that also are in a competitive market that are crushing it too. But they're here to get the insight to be like, what am I missing? And to be honest with you, last year, if there was a class and I was speaking at that class, I would go to that class because of the amount of things that I would know even from one year to the next. That's what's so exciting about. I'm a different person than I was last year. I have different perspectives, and I ran another season, and we accomplished certain things, and I saw different things, and so that's what's really good about doing continuous training. I do think for you to, if you look at any industry, to be a professional in any industry, it usually has continued education attached to it. Think about it: firefighters, paramedics, doctors, pilots. They all have CEs that they are required to maintain their licenses. But with Christmas lighting, you're just going to do it the same way for 15 years. And then you're like, what is Twinkly Pro and this RGB plug and play thing? And it's like, well, the new guy coming in knows all about it. My 12-year-old knows about it. You know what I mean? And it's like, he can program it and you can't. And it's just, you have to adapt. And then we're all learning along the way, but it's those lessons learned that we shared with each other that empowers the industry. And that's what I want. I want there not to be like, oh, I can get my Christmas lights done for $300 or something. I want it to be seen as what it is. It's a highly skilled, highly risked thing. And if you commit yourself to it, you can create a good business with it. That's what I want people to think all around the world, in the nation, in this nation, at least. But a lot of times people just look at like getting their home installed. It should be, oh, my lawn guy will do it for $150 or something. It shouldn't be that way. And over time, I don't think it is that way. I think they do that and they're like, oh, my lights kept going off. And then you get a professional company and you're like, wow, this was a seamless experience. I'm definitely willing to pay, $1,200 to not have that experience, and that's what the customers you want anyways, so as long as we could all build it up together, that's what I'm about. Jason's doing it he's created a platform that he's standing on the stage, and I do view him as one of the top dogs, number one for sure. 35,000, man, 35,000. That's insane. So I love being part of the team with you. I love that you came on here and you sharing your knowledge. And I can't wait for this training and just to be around you again, because every time I get around you, Chelsea will be there. I mean, Chelsea, Jason Geiman, and Joey, it's like the room's not going to be quiet. Okay. We'll say that. No. And we'll just be laughing, having good times and developing each other. And every time I see Jason, I become a stronger person for it too. So I encourage everybody to come to the training event. And if you guys need anything, you can DM Jason or me. You can reach me. Yeah, just hit us up on Facebook. I'm not going to give you all the contact information because we'll get it in many different forms, but just put it in this post down below or DM us. And if you guys have any questions, we're happy to answer them. So anything else, Jason?
Take action. See you in Dallas.
That's right. Take action. Book your ticket like right now.
Exactly.
Do that. Well, awesome, dude. I do appreciate it. Thanks for coming on. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Yep. You too, guys.
All right, later.